Hello and welcome to episode 153 of NOLA Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me is this skeleton man himself, Mr. Joel Young.
I'm
It's the spooky Tober. We gotta do
spook,
this
spooky,
mandatory.
scary skeletons.
Yeah,
No,
and
man,
I can't talk today, man. I
I
don't
got
know.
say that 10 times
My
fast.
my ESL it's like not activated. I don't know what's wrong.
It's like I need to find my pillow.
Yeah,
No, it's
yeah,
no man.
basically.
I'm good. I'm great, bro. I'm happy to be with you as always,
Yeah, man.
man.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
glad
same
that
here.
you're up and, and doing this with us.
Up and operational. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, it's been a week, but we're here. We're live. Yeah, what's up, man?
Not been up to too much. Just trying to make room for my new PS5 coming in.
Oh, thanks.
Well,
Thanks for rubbing it in, man. It's like, hey, just making time for my PS5 before today. I don't know,
just
man.
checking that pre-order. No, I mean, not gonna lie. Like, I've said it a few times on the show that I've been checking my pre-order status every day, and I still do that every day because I don't know what to believe, but I see on Twitter almost every few days people saying that they're getting cancellation emails
Yeah.
that like GameStop is supposedly canceling stuff.
Oh
Walmart
wow.
had a fiasco just the other day where there was the digitals were on sale
And it wasn't
and
in Walmart. That's why I didn't go for it because you
it
sent
was
it to
not
me.
from Walmart. It was from a third party,
Yep.
and the party just did not seem to be legitimate. And they ended up having to cancel and refund all those orders. So some people are out of money right now.
Because
That's just not good.
yeah, you sent it to me, and I saw it. I was like, oh, digital. You know what? And I clicked on it, and I was like, nah. This is third party. I'm not gonna go with that.
Yeah, and don't and I mean like I know you said it for you don't want to get digital. I can't blame people for wanting to get it. It's not
Yeah,
a bad option at all. But still like that's pretty messed up that that's happening. But yeah,
yeah.
there's some interesting stuff. Target still sporadically
So
having some show available, and then people are saying that they're getting canceled too.
yeah, well, Target was showing up available, and then I went in and pre-ordered, and there's like, oh, we can't add anything to your cart because there's nothing to add because it kept coming up on my end.
Well, so
I
some
think,
people say that they spam it, and then randomly it just shows up in their actual like,
yep,
and they can do the whole checkout, and then it's still.
yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there.
Yep. The crazy thing on Target is that they actually caught up to whatever error they had going on,
Okay.
and they fixed it. I think Tuesday they changed the page to like sold out, not sold in stores, and like there's no button. They took everything down.
Okay.
So that yeah, that's yeah, because that's not
So
gonna happen.
so I'm happy that I was able to curse cop a console, but my issue now is I need to find I need to find that 3D Pulse headset. That's my problem. They
Target
are
has them on
nowhere.
Target on pre-order. Target has them. Yep. Yep. Because
I'm
I was there this morning and they have them. Yeah.
telling me this now while we're live on the show.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Target
Yeah.
has them. Is the only place I've seen them. Everyone else is sold
Well,
out. Best Buy
well,
has it coming soon, like with the PlayStation. So, um, yeah, I mean, $100 for that thing's not bad. My gold died over the weekend, so
wow.
yeah,
That's it.
that lasted. So the thing with the gold, right, is that I used that thing like all the time for I don't know since I got the PS4 originally because I got sold
Sold
out.
out.
Yeah, they were there this morning.
I missed it.
Yep. So when I got the PS4, I got the gold headset, and I used it for you know many years, and then I stopped using it and started using this one, the HyperX Cloud X, and just plugging it into the controller, and it worked perfect. But I moved these over to the computer now that I was like I built the rig. I was like, oh, you know what? I'll take the nice headsets over to the desktop, and then I'll use my gold again. And they were like falling apart, dude. I
No.
kept using them, but then last weekend they just like gave up. I was like, all right, right. Like the battery lasted like an hour and a half, and yeah, they were like super busted already because I got my money's worth out of those things. I bought them on sale at Best Buy for like 80, and it's like yeah, it was well worth the $80 because I got hundreds of hours out of it.
And see, like that's the thing, right? So like with these 3D headsets, so that is going to be the only way you can have the 3D audio
No,
at launch.
that is incorrect.
Well, you can get another like headset, but it's not going to be native to the console at launch.
Well, you can get the Steel Series Arctics because they just came out without those. They put them out for pre-order. The thing with 3D audio is that they 3D audio, the way that Mark Cerny explained it, right, is that with any pair of headphones, you can experience 3D audio. Um, if you ask me, Joel, the
Right.
the 3D headset for PS5 is basically a repackaged gold headset.
Really?
Yep. Because I haven't seen the specs, but to me, that's what it is. Because it's basically, I think, and I'm almost certain, it's the same drivers.
Huh.
So, yep, you don't need them.
Interesting.
You can use any headset, sir. So good.
Interesting.
I heard the those Steel series are really good. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind going for those if you know if it comes to it, and I can't find a 3D headset whenever I get mine. Yeah, I mean, and I heard they're really, really good, really reliable, and the battery is great. So you can just plug in any wired headset to the controller, and that should work exactly the same.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting.
Just to give you an example, they confirmed that the gold headset will work,
Yes.
but you cannot get the visual surround sound, which
Right.
is fine because it sounds like crap anyway, so it doesn't matter. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
a little tidbit of information there before we jump into the topics. But yeah, nothing much on my end, sir. It's been quiet. I did some Street Fighter Five again over the weekend. I actually made it to silver rank now. Finally, after 4 years, I made it to silver, and I was so excited that I stopped playing. So I stopped playing and I started playing on casual, right? Because once you hit silver, you start getting like actually good people playing on basically online. So I started doing casual just to practice, right? And uh, that way, if I lose a match, I don't get salty because I don't lose any points. I was like, I just want to get a feel of what's going on with silver before I actually jump in. Yeah, it was tough, man. Like I won maybe a match out of like 4 or 5. It was rough. Um, and it's I'm jumping too much, and I gotta stop jumping. And I don't know why I do it because I know it. I know that I can't jump around like a moron, and I keep doing it. So I gotta get my groundwork going and get those footsies going. But yeah, it was good. It was fun. Other than that, Battlefront again. It's ridiculous.
Keep going back.
It's ridiculous. I am actually going to download Bloodborne this weekend because that's a game of the generation that I haven't played, and I heard it's really good. So I'm going to download it over the weekend, and give it a try for sure because we want to talk, games of the generation. Sometime
Yeah.
later this month, we'll go over what our picks are for game of the generation. So we really want to have a good feel of that.
And when we say our picks, we literally mean the games that
It's our
we
yeah,
actually played. Like we're not
exactly.
talking about like okay, there's a game we have like some. I'm gonna assume that we're not gonna have The Last of Us 2 on there because we
Because we
haven't
haven't
played
played
it.
it
And
exactly.
we're not saying it's not a great game. We're just saying it's a personal list item.
Yep. Um, there was a Ghost of Tsushima update. Well, they
Yep.
added New Game Plus, and I think the that multiplayer thing comes out at the end of the month. So I might check that out because that looks pretty cool. And Ghost was a great game. So
What a
yeah,
great year we've had though for gaming though. Again,
yeah, yeah. The last 2 years, man. Because
I
last
know.
year was like every month there was something. It was nuts. And then this year started pretty strong too.
Yeah.
There was a oh, hit and miss here with like Resident Evil 3. Like expectations were really high for that game, and I don't think it really lived up to them. It was fine. Um, and I think what really saved that game was that it wasn't really that long.
Hmm.
It was somewhat short. It was like 9 hours, 7 hours maybe. It wasn't really that long. I know I had that multiplayer thing. I never even installed it, so I moved on. So I'm good, and we'll try new things. I'm actually gonna try a Souls like game this weekend because I keep hearing about Bloodborne, and I know it may not be my cup of tea and maybe too spooky, but I'll give it a try.
That's
Because
how I feel about like Demon Souls. I was thinking about like with that being one of those
yep,
launch titles, right? Like that's it looks like a really solid, remake, but it's not my cup of
it's
tea.
just yeah.
But I mean, I like just watching the gameplay for it. I'm like, wow, this looks great.
It looked good. It looked good. Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, that's kind of like what's been conflicting me to like I missed on the pre-orders, right? And I'm not even salty because it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, I really want to play Miles. I really want to play
Yeah, yeah,
DMC5 with ray tracing and Virgil and
right.
all this stuff and the Horde and whatnot. But uh, at the end of the day, I can wait, and it's not something that I'm rushing into. And if I get like a third batch or whatever comes like late December or January, I'm good.
That's
So
fair.
yeah, I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm not
Like,
gonna
of
baby.
course, like you said, I'm excited for like Miles and stuff. But then it's strange, like that PS Plus collection that they're gonna have. Like, I'm looking forward to playing God of War,
Yeah,
man.
man.
I haven't played that yet.
Yep. You need to. That's
Yeah,
up
that's
there
gonna
for
be
games
one
game of the generation for me because
for
it's
sure.
game was good. Game was good. The game, man. So the thing with God of War is that it was unexpected because God of War was not my cup of tea before that. Because I played the first one and I played some of the second one, and it was fine, right? It wasn't. It was fun. I liked it, but it was too mashy, too button mashy. It wasn't like Devil May Cry where you actually needed skill and then the Ninja Gaiden games that came out on the original Xbox and 360 PS3. Those were challenging and they were not mashy. You needed to be very precise on what did to do with the combat and this remake of God of War just really a reboot I should say
Yeah.
takes some of that. It's not you can mash it out. I think you can, but in some areas you actually have to like time things and be very precise on what you're doing. So yeah, that game was good, bro. Definitely check it out when it comes when you have a chance, cause yeah,
I know my launch lineup is Miles, Assassin's Creed, and God of
yeah,
War.
yeah.
That's
Assassin's
I mean
Creed for
that's
you,
just
cause
what I'll be
that's a big
replaying until
one.
the end of the year.
Yeah, yeah. AC for sure good for you, cause that's a big one. Um, Joe, we got basically it's most of our topics today are gaming related. Let's get the one out of the way because it's a pretty interesting one. We talked about it last week,
Yeah.
and it's that Benedict Cumberbatch is gonna be in the next Spider-Man movie. Like he will be present in the movie. The reasoning being there's something going on with the Spider Verse, right? And all signs point to that. Yeah, man, I'm excited. Like I saw this. It's like we were just talking about this thing, and it's happening. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm pumped. This is not a surprise to any of us. I'm sure this was done months ago. It's just now getting out to the press. It's usually how these things go. You know, based off of the reports and things that we know from the past, the original deal that was struck between Sony and Marvel, one of the contingencies was that a MCU, a film A-lister, had to be in every single one. They had to be one Marvel MCU A-list actor had to be in every single one of the Spider-Man films that were being made between Sony and Marvel. And so obviously we know for the very first one was Iron Man, which I mean, to get the deal done, if you put Robert Downey Jr. in your movie, of course you're going to make money. So that
Yep.
Sony was smart to take that deal. And then for the second one, obviously we know that they gave us Nick Fury, so that kind of took it a tone down. And Nick Fury's cool and all, but it wasn't the same. And then for this movie now they're bringing back in Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, like he's gonna be again that mentor role is what I've been reading. Most people are saying it's been confirmed. He's gonna be again that kind of elder character in the movie. But his character is not gonna just be that. Like it's clearly we're talking about this person who's literally traveling time, space, and realities. Like obviously, this just makes sense based off of the whole multiverse or Spideyverse that we sense to see coming. Our Spidey senses can see coming. So I would suggest that there's a possibility. I don't know this, but that there's an arc, a connected arc that Marvel's putting together right now. That between um, Spider-Man the 3, Tom Holland Spider-Man 3, between maybe even Ant-Man and WandaVision,
WandaVision.
and then of course this Doctor Strange 2 movie, that there's going to be an arc that those movies are going to be connected. Like that's going to be like its own kind of trilogy, and WandaVision is going to be like its own in between cool kind of thing. Like I feel like there's some kind of connection there. That
Yeah.
because if not, then the multiverse thing is going to come kind of cliche that all these movies are just
Yeah.
doing and they're not connected. It can't just be like a thing. So having like people get over it very fast. So having it as a continuing storyline, and then now having confirmation that Benedict's going to be in, Spider-Man 3. I don't know this, but like just knowing that, Wanda is going to be in Doctor Strange 2, I can imagine that there's a very strong chance that Doctor Strange is going to show up on that Disney Plus series.
Yeah.
There's a very strong chance of that, and then show up there. So, man, Doctor Strange is getting his light. He's getting his showtime. There's many Doctor Strange fans out there that have been long waited to see him in this limelight, and good for those guys. I'm just happy that my Spider-Man movie just got another added muscle in it.
Yeah. I think that they're going to do like this is gonna be. I think you really hit the nail right in the head. It's basically they're going to do an arc, like sort of like what the first Phase One movies were to the Avengers, and this will culminate in a big like Spider Verse thing. I think they really want to get that out of the way before more drama over Spider Man happens. So they really want to get that out of the way, and then they can probably move on into, a bigger thing. Or they could have something. They could have other movies connect to other movies, like a separate arc going on at the same time. Yeah, which is that's of course the speculation that WandaVision will lead to this and X-Men.
Be in there,
so so this could lead to basically both arcs that Marvel will go in the future. That being said, go ahead.
Well, as I say, I have a question for you. What do you think the chances are? I was thinking about this during the week. What's the chances that with Electro being in this movie, we talked about last week, that it's Jamie Foxx Electro, but it's not the same Electro that was from the last movie, like how J. was like J. Jonah, but not the same J. Jonah.
Correct. He clarified that he will be Electro, but it's not the same Electro.
Right.
So yep. That was interesting, and again, it goes back to the Spider-Verse, so it's a different Electro because, like, Electro died right on that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember. I remember sucking it.
I'm pretty sure he like blew up or something.
Yeah, he fell into water or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no interest in going back to watch that movie, so I don't care. Know. Yeah. But I might have to watch it now because of this thing. I don't know, man.
Well,
do you own that movie?
I have it, yeah.
Yeah.
Your
heart.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't see it in the movie theater, so that's why I bought it. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. My apologies, sir. But yeah, that being said, this thing, we're really excited about all the Marvel stuff. And of course, we're very excited about the DC stuff too. Now with rumors that Wonder Woman is gonna come out to in streaming, um, Batman got pushed to 2022. Matrix got moved around to next year. Um, what's gonna we don't know. Regal's closing again, but
I
AMC
know.
and Cinemark are saying they're not. Oh man, it's freaking rough. Now Universal laid a whole bunch of people to. It's man, I don't know. I'm not worried. I know that these things are gonna happen eventually, right? Problem is that it really like threw a wrench on things. These things are gonna get delayed a year or two now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like one of those things we started the year off. 2020 is gonna be the year of, and
bro.
this was not on the agenda. 2020 didn't just come in and change plans; it straight up canceled them.
Yeah,
But
seriously, seriously.
yeah, I do think it interesting. I don't know if you saw the quote from Patty Jenkins talking about
I
that her
didn't.
movie needs to be seen in theaters. That she said that families don't want to make their kids go to the movies in their living room, or uh, dates not happening in a movie theater between couples. So I think she's fighting it. She's holding it out. We'll see.
Yeah, yep, yep. Yeah, and then all the Marvel and Disney stuff got pushed.
Soul's coming
Soul's
on
coming
Disney
out on
Plus.
Disney Plus. It's I don't know, man. I, like I'm concerned, and I was concerned already, but
Like after Mando
it's
comes
bad.
out, man, I don't know what I got to look forward. Like I don't know what's promised for us coming up next. That's that soon. I don't know, man, because everything's so in the
WandaVision
air for
after that.
changing schedules. Yeah,
It's like Mando, and then WandaVision after that. Well, that would be a good time for you to watch The Boys, or
yeah,
at least the
yeah.
first season. It's good. It's good.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, man, I'm concerned, but we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see Spider Verse in 2023. We'll see. Joe, next gen's happening. We all know that. There was a teardown for the PS5. We'll go over that in a minute. But I want to talk about the report that Xbox Series X is quiet, but it's hot. Like I think I mentioned this before, that based on this specs and based on the teardown that they did back in like February, um, they I thought that cooling solution they had was not enough to like keep it straight, and it seems like that's the case. It looks like the back of the car, the back of the device, gets pretty hot. It's not exhausting air very well, and otherwise impressions have been very positive. But the problem is that uh, you know we're going over the overheating stuff again with a new console, especially a console coming from Microsoft. They had this problem with the 360. They fixed it with their revision. They didn't have any of this sort of problems with the Xbox
one.
One because they put that gigantic fan and exhaust vent on it that I thought that was, you know, unfortunately it was not pretty because the original Xbox One is probably my least favorite console design of all time. It's just an awful design. That being said, the Xbox One S looked very nice, sleek, compact, and it still had the same exhaust solution. So it's concerning because you're running last gen games or current gen games on the Series X. There's no next gen stuff out yet. This test boxes that have gone out to YouTubers and podcasters and whatnot. They're running a select group of games from Microsoft, so they're not necessarily running, you know, the next. They're not running Cyberpunk. They're not running Assassin's Creed. They're just running Forza and Gears and whatnot. So What do you think, Joel? Is this should we be concerned about this, or do they have time to figure it out? I don't think so. I think these things are being manufactured already, because I think comes out in less than a month. But what
Yeah,
do you
it's
think?
yeah, it's too late to make changes in my opinion, but it is. I'm hoping that when we say concerning, that we're just doing this because of past history, and that when it comes out, everything's still fine. Because like you said, Obed, exactly what you're talking about was what I was gonna say. Same thing. Like these are people with the red rings of death history and the explosions that many families experienced in the 360 era, and it was not something that you know they wanted to have bring forward with them again to next generation, two generations forward. You want to leave that in the past. So there hasn't been, from the reports, there hasn't been like, hey, I had this unit and it blew up on me, but they're saying it's hot. So they're saying this, and it's like, hopefully when they're saying it's hot, it's just like, just letting you guys know, if you touch it, like, it's not going to be cold, but hopefully it's not so hot that we're talking about like it's literally going to start melting and explode on you. I don't know what that level is, or what that fine line is. No, again, no one's actually said it's exploded or anything. So I'm hoping that's just concerning, but it's not going to be a problem. Because if it's going to be a
Yeah.
problem, they can't afford this to be an issue.
Oh,
Like they
absolutely.
cannot afford. And the other thing is, it's the Series X, but I haven't heard anything about the Series S. So I don't
Well,
know, like, if
because they
there's really
didn't.
going to be
Yeah, they
same
didn't send
difference. I don't
any.
know.
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't send any test units out there
Yeah.
for the S, and they haven't done a teardown yet on the S either.
Yeah, that's true. That's the
Um,
one that I'm more curious in.
yeah. So I'm concerned about like this games that they're running are current gen games. They're not next gen. So what's gonna happen when the next gen stuff drops? Is the thing's gonna catch fire? So I don't know. It was a bit of a concern when I saw the initial design and how the heatsink is set up, and the airflow and whatnot. Um, it was a bit of a concern to me when it comes to that design. I mean, the heatsink itself is pretty substantial. Maybe the fans that they're using in these test models are not the final fan that they're going to use. Maybe they're going to use a faster fan that maybe makes some noise. So we'll see. Um, Joel, do you remember a few weeks ago I told you that I was gonna clean my PS4
Yeah.
because it was like Ghost Shima wanted to send it to the wind. Basically, it was gonna fly off like a leaf in the wind, and so I opened it up right to clean the fan because I initially wanted to change the thermal paste on it. Then I started looking at how to do it, videos, and you basically have to do a full teardown to change the thermal paste. It's like, well, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna go force myself to change the thermal paste and then put it back together. That's gonna take me a couple hours. I have a kid here grabbing screws. I don't know. I don't want to deal with this. So I still took it apart to where I can clean the heatsink and the fan. It's like, well, I don't know. This thing is probably full of dust, and I don't know, man. It's like it's gonna be like roaches in there. Um, Dude, I opened it up and it was like clean. I was like,
Good for you, man. You're a clean
I'm a clean.
guy.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah,
I've seen
you
your
know what's
place. You're good.
what's up. So I thought it was gonna be dusty, and I dust my entertainment center every two Sundays. It's like I
Wow.
basically take all the dust out and everything. But I did have it. There was some dust, but it just wasn't bad at all. Um, the same thing happened with my PC. I set up a reminder. It's like, oh, set up a reminder in like 2 months to clean up the PC. The reminder came up, and I cleaned it. It's like, oh, this thing is like clean. I mean, there's some specks of dust in there, but it's nothing crazy. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it still sounds like a jet plane with Ghost Shima. Whenever I played it after that, right? Um, but it was very very clean for the most part. That we can use that as a segue now because PlayStation put out a teardown video yesterday on what the innards of the PS5 will look like, And I bet that you're super excited that you can take those white plastic things off and buy yourself a can of Rust-Oleum and just paint it whatever color you want, sir. Because that's what I'm gonna do.
I don't care that it's white, dude. I like it doesn't bother me. It's different.
Okay.
But
Well,
it's yes, it is cool the breakdown of what the possibilities are. It's not very limiting, which is good.
bro, you can scan them,
Right,
get a 3D printer,
right.
and you can print your own.
Yes, you can. That's
Sick.
pretty epic,
That's
dude.
gonna be on Etsy, and you're gonna see some sick covers, man.
Nerds on Etsy, look out.
Oh, seriously. Oh, I've seen
It's
some
gonna be
really cool
epic.
stuff on Etsy.
Oh, that's what
Come
I'm
on, man.
saying, bro. It's gonna be
Yeah,
epic.
yeah. But yeah, they went ahead and did it a full teardown. In the white covers, they're removable, which is a rumor that we've heard for a long time, and we know that now that we can take them out. I'm assuming PlayStation will sell other color,
No brainer.
covers. Yeah, come on. The stand is really cool, and it's great that it's included because that stand is sick.
That's the only way you can use it. You have to have a stand for either horizontal or vertical.
Yep. But it looks cool in the way they actually found a way to hide the screw if
Yeah.
you're doing horizontal instead of vertical. I think that was pretty genius on their part. Really well designed when it comes to that. Um, the rest of the machine, we saw that for 4K Blu-ray drive seemed pretty small. That I'm not. I don't know if that's a proprietary Sony drive that they're using. I mean, it's more than likely it's a Sony drive anyway, but uh, that looks like it's a proprietary drive because it's I've never seen one shaped like that before. That was pretty interesting. Um, the hits heatsink actually reminds me a lot of the heatsink that the original PS3 had, the fat PS3, and
You had one of those, right?
I did, yeah, I died twice. Um,
Doo, doo, doo.
yeah, yeah, and I bought a Slim after that. No problems. But the way they did that heatsink, it basically the heatsink covers like most of the motherboard. It's pretty substantial. It's a vapor chamber, so they confirmed that. Uh, that's why the system is the size it is because of the heatsink. It does take a big part of it. Also, that fan is gigantic. It uses a proprietary 120 millimeter fan, and it's like an inch thick. It's like I've never seen anything like that. It's like 2 inches thick, because I have 120s on my desktop, and they're like half the thickness of that, if not less. So that fan is pretty big. But they did confirm because some Japanese YouTubers had test units last week, and they confirmed that it's pretty quiet. Like it's silent, and compared to the PS4, it's super silent. The PS4 uses a blower, basically type of cooling solution for the fan, and that's why it gets so loud. If you've owned a blower, a graphics card, you know that they get really hot and really loud. So that's all you need to know with that. But that the cooling solution, it yeah, they nailed it with this one. Um, the biggest thing with the cooling solution is that they're using liquid metal instead of thermal paste. So liquid metal is probably the best cooling solution right now. And it's been available for PCs for a few years. It's a little bit more expensive than doing thermal paste, and it's a little bit more hard to apply because I should rephrase, it's a little harder to apply because it's conductive versus thermal paste. I don't know if you've seen the teardown on the PS4. There's thermal paste everywhere. It's like they squirt it really, like they don't really care, right? Um, but in this case, you have to be really careful, and you cannot let the liquid metal get in contact with a a lane or a transistor or anything inside the device because you're short circuited because it's conductive. So they put kind of like an isolation pad around the APU so the thermal paste doesn't go around and still meets with the cooling solution. So I think that was pretty smart. Um, and the other are the dust catchers. So they have dust catch ports that you can basically take the lids off and vacuum those ports, and you can just suck all the dust out of the device. So
Love that.
yeah, pretty good. They showed the SSD slot where you can the expansion slot.
Right.
So they showed that, and while we get your impressions, I'm gonna look up because Western Digital they announced their PS5 compatible drives today. So I'm gonna look them up while you give your impressions.
Absolutely. Yes, no problem, sir. Yeah, I was completely a fan of this breakdown video. It was a very nice, pleasant video to watch. Seeing this guy sit down, just walk us through. I've seen a lot of really cool comparison side by sides of the breakdown for PS4 and then the breakdown for PS5 teardown of it. Interesting that they did not have a UI reveal in this video at all. I It's a separate thing. Don't get me wrong, but still was kind of thinking, oh, maybe they're just going to put it all together. Nope. This was strictly a teardown video, which has to make me imagine that the UI video is coming when any day now, any moment now. Nope.
So we got info on those excuse me on those drives. Um, it is the Western Digital SN850 NVMe drive. The 500 gigs is 149.99.
Expensive.
Yeah, the 1 terabyte is 229.99, which is the same as the Xbox, and they have a 2 terabyte for 449.99. So, yes, sir, they are expensive. This should come down within the next year, so it's gonna be
And
fine.
but if you have a digital box, you're gonna want to expand that thing, dude.
Like I would get a digital box, and I would buy me at least an extra 500 just
At
to
the
be
minimum,
safe
yeah.
instead of using instead of having the drive. Yeah, I would probably do that. Just even if I can get that, man, I probably just floor it and get the extra terabyte because it's probably worth it
Yeah.
at that point. Seriously. Just to give you an idea, because I have a Western Digital Black on my computer, and mine's a PCI 3, and I mine's a 500 gig, and it cost me $89. So it's quite a bit, more when it comes to price difference. But go ahead, sir. I interrupted you.
No, 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 you're fine. I mean, I don't really have too much to add to it. You broke down you broke it down.
Broke it down again.
You broke it down very well, my friend. Yeah, I was pretty happy with the ease of how to access each of these parts of the system. It's not going to be very difficult at all. Of course, like if you don't know what you're doing, don't just go, I'm gonna go tear my PS5 apart like
No,
this video is when it comes in, because you're
no.
gonna screw something up.
Yeah, because if you this again, liquid metal's not thermal paste.
It's not the same.
If you break the bond, then you gotta get yourself liquid metal. And yeah, just to double check that, let's check the pricing on liquid metal right now.
Oh, I was gonna say
Let's go to
that's gonna
Newegg.
be atrocious.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, the thermal paste is pretty
But
cheap,
it's enough to make you go,
but
why'd I do that? It's a pain. Yeah, I mean, but still, like I think the most important thing that everyone wanted to know out of this teardown was the expansion drive slot, and then of course the seeing the ability to also keep clean it out, right? So I think those two items are probably the most important things that we care about. We already knew what this thing was made of, like what the actual hardware was, but seeing it, how it's all put together was pretty cool.
yeah, $30 we'll get you a tube of Grizzly, liquid metal,
No,
which is
$30.
it's like three times the price of regular thermal paste. Because I bought a Arctic Silver a few years ago, and I think I paid like $5 for the tube. And then when I bought the heatsink for the desktop, it came with a tube of the Cooler Master brand thermal paste. So
Not terrible,
it's not
but
terrible, but if
it's enough to make little Billy cry.
yeah, little Billy, don't tear this thing down.
Don't do it.
Um, Also, let's talk about how freaking gigantic this thing is. Right. So the guy on the video, I forgot his name, but it's the he's the architect, like basically the designer. I believe he's the same guy that designed the PS4.
Yeah, yeah.
But either he's a really small guy, or
Right?
this thing is ginormous, dude.
It's like the size of his torso.
Seriously, seriously, it's it's big, dude.
And then when you look at the side by side of the PS4 breakdown, he's got this thing sitting up. And I look at my PS4 and I'm like, it doesn't look like like a little boy. It's it's a good size. I'm not saying it's massive, but it's a machine. But this thing, I gotta clear the cabinets, brother.
I have a space for it already, but
Uh,
just if only it'll be on pre-order. If only Sony will send me an email. Hey, we're inviting you to pre-order. We'll take it, Sony. Come on, Sony. Send those emails out. But yeah, pretty good stuff with that teardown. Very interesting. They showed the modules for the custom SSD, the custom controller, and everything
yeah.
that they're using. They confirmed they're using Wi-Fi 6 too, so they're using the new Wi-Fi protocols there too.
No load time. I get those
Uh,
speeds.
Yeah, especially on Wi-Fi, you get the latency. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't play fighting games on Wi-Fi, kids. So it's my pro tip for today. Don't do it. Wire your consoles. Um, but yeah, they and then USB-C on front with a USB 2 USB 3s in the back with I'm assuming it's a 1 gigabit Ethernet, and then of course HDMI in the back. No optical drive, built-in power supply. I think they said it's like 350 watts. Yeah, and that was basically it. It was good. I mean, it's a teardown. If you come to a teardown expecting to see footage of God of War, you came to the wrong place, my friend. But yeah, pretty good stuff. So
When's the UI reveal coming, Obed? When's it coming?
That's gonna come when you plug it in and you turn it on.
Are we gonna be surprised when we see it?
Yeah,
Like, oh, this
basically.
is so cool. Or are we gonna be like, all right,
Yeah, well, I'm trying to remember when did we see the UI for PS4? Like, did we see it before,
I
or
could swear we saw it before, dude.
do you think so? Because I know that we saw the
Because there was
PS3.
commercials for it. Remember? There was like literal TV commercials
Man,
of
I
like
don't
kids
remember that.
launching their PS4s.
Oh
on the
yeah,
couch and stuff,
yeah,
and
yeah,
they
yeah. You're right, and they were doing that remote play thing where you can
Yep.
take over. Yeah. With this kid, it's like a little apartment with a 75-inch
Yeah, right.
Sony
Costs
TV.
more than
It's like, dude, those TVs back then were so expensive. Those 4Ks, and you're like PS4 on it. Yeah, you're right. And they showed the UI when they released those videos, but
Right.
they haven't. We're basically a month away, and they haven't.
I'm
showed
hoping that we're gonna be
anything,
blown away. I'm trying to keep my expectations low, you know. But if it's like, oh wow, you guys really just held on us because you had a real nice ace up your sleeve, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's. Well, you can probably get an idea on what it's gonna look like with those new trophy icons, sir.
Yes, sir.
So they went ahead and quietly like revamped what the trophies look like, and how the trophies points work. So I'm not gonna go into too much into the trophy points because it's trophies
You
and
can look it up on the PlayStation
I
blog.
don't think that a lot of people really care on how much one trophy's worth, right? Unless you're like really a hardcore trophy hunter, you don't really care. I don't care, right? So they updated the icons and they updated the point structure. So I've seen people jump like hundreds of levels because of this new point structure. So we'll see. But there's tiers within the trophies now, and that's what the big thing is, right? Because now there's 3 tiers of bronze trophies versus just a standard bronze trophy, and then different tiers of silver and gold. Platinum is still like I like that new design for the platinum trophy. It doesn't look like ostentatious like the other one is like where you're like, oh, like look at this trophy. It looks more like a badge, and I kind of like it. Um, and it's funny because I saw people making fun of this. It's like, dude, like Xbox achievements, they've changed it like 3 times already, so it's fine.
Doesn't change my experience.
Exactly. So yeah, trophies they really needed a little bit of a revamp, and they're getting it. So it looks fine. It's what it is. It's not really that big of a deal to me, but it's something that Sony put out there. We wanted to talk about. One thing that they put out there, Joel. I don't know if you saw that they are changing the web store, and they're taking out PS3 and
I
Vita.
know.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
It was inevitable. It's just still like,
Yeah.
oh, the nostalgia.
Yeah. So you can no longer buy PS3 and Vita games from a web browser from the web store. You have to, if you want to buy a Vita or PS3 game, you have to buy it from the device itself. So they're basically uh, locking that behind the device. Now I wonder if it's gonna be the same for the downloads list, because I mean we're not getting anything new on Vita and PS3, but it's pretty handy to go to my downloads list and just download this game to my PS3. Like if I find a game, like
Yeah.
I really, to be honest with you, I'm not going out of my way to play PS3, but there's a ton of stuff that I've accumulated through the years from PS Plus that a game that I think my daughter will enjoy, and I would just download it and leave it downloading overnight, and then it's convenient, right? That they did. I'm not 100% sure if that feature is going to be removed, but we know that you can no longer buy games through the web store. I mean, it's when's that going live? Let me see.
It's very
On the
soon.
fly. So PlayStation Store,
Like
PS3.
this was inevitable. It's not like
Yeah,
shocking
it's
news or
not.
something, but it's just still.
Oh, and PSP as well.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
PSP you could still buy them
That's the same like kind of
from the
generation because
store.
PSP, PS Vita kind of PS Vita was between 4 and 3,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
PSP and PS3 were very synchronous.
Yep. Uh, uh, weird. Okay. So they are also discontinuing the wish list, which that kind of stinks because I use it.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. October 19th, so next week.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's happening soon.
Boom.
Um,
Thanos it away.
yeah. So now if you want to get your PS3 games, you have to get it
Now.
from that awful, awful PS3 store. That thing is borderline unusable, dude. Now I'm really frustrated. Oh no. Because I just remember how bad it is. Like the Vita store is bad, right? but it's
You would
usable.
type something in, and then you have to go down this long list to find the game that you
See, the
wanted.
Vita you
And
can type because the Vita brings up the keyboard and you can type it in, so you can find whatever you want, right? But the PS3 one, dude.
and
Oh
it
no.
doesn't like try and figure it out or something. Like you have to be exact, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta be like exact. Like, well, even on the web store, like you have to be really exact on what you type in
yeah,
because he won't find crap.
no.
So, yep. Um, well, and going on with that, rant. Then we'll go and talk about backwards compatibility because they're still confusing the crap out of me when it comes to what can I move and not move to to PS5. So, my understanding, based on the information that we have today versus the one that we had last week, where I was feeling really salty about this, if you're buying a PS5 version of a game that's also on PS4 that you have already played, example, Spider Man, if you cannot transfer that save data to the PS5 because the PS5 version is a different version. If you are playing Kingdom Hearts 3 on your PS3 and you want to transfer that save data from the cloud to your PS5 so you can play Kingdom Hearts 3 on your PS5, then you can. So if it's a PS4 native game that you're playing with backwards compatibility, you can. So if you're playing Spider-Man for PS4, you can bring it over. But if you're playing Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition, you cannot bring it over. That clears it up to me where I'm not like super salty anymore. It's still confusing, but now it makes more sense.
Here's the thing, Obed. You look at that article I sent over to you.
Yep.
There is a list of certain games. They each have their own stance on some of these items. Some of these in between generation games. This is my concern, Obed, is that although in theory most things should be fine. Like generally speaking, we should be good.
Okay.
But there's gonna be I just could feel it, man. There's gonna be those handful of games that it's gonna be like some really strange workaround to get with your stuff. And they're not telling us exactly how
It's
it's gonna work, except that it's going to work. And that's to me one of those things that make me feel like I don't know, man.
When does AC come out?
Comes out on the 12th. Or so
Oh,
it comes on the 9th, I think. I think it's on the
okay.
9th.
So don't play on PS4, play on PS5.
Oh no, I ain't playing.
Because
Yeah,
then your save file's not gonna be transferable. That's
right.
the thing because it's gonna be a different version. You'll be downloading a different version of the game. You're not playing the PS4 version. You're playing the PS5 version,
Right.
and
So,
that's when it's this whole thing comes in.
but my thing is like if I take Jedi Fallen Order and I stick that sucker into my
Yep.
PS5, am I gonna be like completely new campaign?
Nope.
You're not supposed to.
You can bring it over because there's no PS5 version of Fallen
I
Order.
can. I feel like it's this whole backwards compatibility thing should be fine. They're not stressing it. They're
Yep.
not. They don't seem to be concerned about it. But it's gonna be one of those things like until I have this thing sitting on my entertainment console and I actually turn this thing on, I try it out for myself. I don't know what to expect, man.
So the tweet from the Yakuza team is the one that really explains it, um, like super simple, like what I tried to do. They said to clarify, physical owners of Yakuza Like a Dragon on PS4 can also use the original disc to upgrade
That's
to
a
a
different version.
to a PS5 version
Right, it's a new
when it
version.
releases on March 2nd, 2021. Save data will not be transferable between PS4 and PS5 because it is a different version of the game.
Right, totally makes sense.
So if you want to, if you're playing a game, right, that you really want to play and you got it for PS4, don't play it. Wait until you plan to get a PS5. So you either finish playing it on PS4 or start on PS5. Don't move in the middle because then you'll have to start over. Another example I can give you, because I gave this example last week, is Final Fantasy 15. Because Final Fantasy 15 is going to be available on that PS Plus free thing that they're doing
Oh
for
yeah,
backwards
yeah.
compatibility, right?
You're right.
So I can bring my 175-hour save file over. It's like, yes, I am that obsessed with Final Fantasy 15. It's one of my favorite games of all time. So you can bring it in and keep playing. So that now it all makes sense, right?
Hmm.
Because it was confusing. Like I was under the impression that no save files were transferable,
Yeah, that
but
wasn't true.
that was not the case. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I agree. Like generally speaking, most things are gonna be fine.
yeah,
I just get a weird feeling there's gonna be a couple of those hiccups. People like, wait a second, that was a different version. And yeah, like you're saying, pay attention at this point. It's you can't just assume. Make sure you're aware of what version or what's going on there, and make sure that if you are getting something new, that you wait
yeah,
if you're getting this thing at launch. If you're not getting this thing at launch, play away.
yeah.
If you're not
Exactly.
concerned about this trophy things and all this stuff, sure.
Yep. Um. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Whenever the time comes, we'll definitely take a look at that. Joe, the last bit of news that I have here is kind of breaking news from this afternoon. So we know that GameStop's not doing that well. They're closing more stores. They've been struggling for the last couple of years. They Today was announced that they've entered a strategic partnership with Microsoft to better their stores. Um, I think this is a great approach from Microsoft. I mean, I don't know who approached who, right? But Microsoft, we all know that they've closed the Microsoft stores. There's only maybe, I think there's like 2 stores left in the U.S. or something like that. Um, so Microsoft actually partnering with another retailer where they can have their products out makes absolute total sense. Um, this partnership doesn't just only include like Xbox stuff, right? They are revamping their business infrastructure like completely. They're moving to Microsoft Dynamics 365. They're going to move to Office 365, have Teams available for the associates to be able to group chat and work and collaborate. On top of that, they are changing their business model where you will have an associate carrying around a Surface where they can look up games online and do orders for you on the fly and all that. So it's a kind of like a hybrid approach because I know that Apple does the same thing at the Apple Store. You can go to an Apple associate. It's like, hey, I want this MacBook, and they have an iPad with a card reader right there. Oh, this one. Oh, what's your name? What's your address? Swipe the card. All right, we'll send it to you. So they're kind of going to that model. Which, by the way, Joel, I have yet to find one of those remodeled stores here.
Yeah, me either. As you know, I was on the hunt for
Yeah,
PS5 on that day, and I physically drove to each of them in my area. And the two that I went to, neither one
yeah.
has been changed at all.
Same thing. The two that are close to my area that are still open.
And
Um,
there's one that's in my area that's big enough that could have this
yeah,
lounge thing and stuff.
yeah.
Nope.
Here too. There's one by my area that closed down. There was another one that's not too far. I'm not sure if that's still open. But the bigger one down at Waterford Lakes, that one is big enough where you can do the lounge thing and whatnot. There's another one that used to be a Rhino Video Games. That's a smaller store. I mean, that store really doesn't have a lot of space. I usually go to that store because sometimes they have like rare stuff, like hard to find games. Like they
People don't go there
like
as
I
much.
yeah, like I bought Yoshi's Crafted World for my daughter, and that was the only GameStop in the area that had it. And I was like, all right, well,
Wow.
I'll just go there, and it's like 2 minutes
Wow.
away. I'll just go there and buy it. So, uh, it's very interesting. And I'm happy for GameStop because uh, having Microsoft as a strategic partner, not just a vendor, this is big, and this could breathe new life into the stores. Now I hope that Microsoft actually gets input in their store design because I think that Microsoft stores were actually well designed. So to that end, hopefully they'll have some sort of input on what they want to do when it comes to their retail space. And yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for the best. GameStop, I know that they are there's competition, right? They're not alone. Best Buy is doing a big pull on games. They keep adding more games area. I went to my local my Best Buy nearby. They basically have like one rack of movies, Joe. Like they took down the movies. My wife was like, "What happened to the movies?" It's like, "Oh no, it's just like CDs. They're going away, man." So, but games they still had like plenty and a lot of hardware. Um, yeah. So we shall see what comes of GameStop. I know that uh, by this time next year, we'll know what's up with GameStop because the consoles are already they're already out. New games are coming out, but we'll see what comes out of this partnership. I am actually very interested. PSA, Best Buy is matching Amazon or Prime Week or
Yep.
Prime Days, so they're having like a pre Black Friday sale this coming week on the 13th. So
Like a $500 like Samsung 4K 70-inch TV and crazy stuff.
yep, they're gonna have some crazy stuff on sale.
Yeah.
So PSA, check it out if you're looking to buy new tech. So
Ga-
yeah,
Happy for GameStop though, man. I mean, their stocks, I don't know if you see it, jumped to like 40%. It grew today. People are
yeah,
looking at this as a sign of life for them. Like you said, Obed, they are Microsoft is a strategic partner, and I think that's an important perspective. Like it's the fun speculation game for us, what that fully means. As things are today, as things are for the foreseeable immediate future, everything's gonna be the exact same. Like don't expect change right now. But that does not mean that change will never come. I think that like Microsoft's not going to make a deal with GameStop just to see GameStop go under, which is why I think investors are getting excited now at the opportunity of saying, well, you've got an alpha like Microsoft coming in. These are people who also are strongly in the gaming space, in the technology space, just as a company in general, very successful business. So yeah, it's a good sign of life for GameStop. I'm very happy for them, hoping for better days in their future.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Joe, before we close, did you ever get Avengers or play it?
No, that was one of those games that I said I'd wait for PS5.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, I should like that's the other question, right? Like, will I have the opportunity to just buy a digital download of that on my PS5
Oh
if it's
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
PS4
yeah.
game? I mean, that's
No,
what
no,
I'm
no.
under
You
the
can.
assumption.
No, you can. Yeah, 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 yeah. You can.
Yeah, like that's
There's gonna
my
be a
expectation. I'm
PS5
gonna be able to
version
just
of it. Yeah,
right, like I'll be able to buy a PS5 digital
yeah.
because I know the
Um,
disc won't be manufactured, which is fine.
the
But
reason I'm asking is because I saw on Reddit that they on the PC version there was less than 1,000 players, and it was really hard to get a match. Like
yeah,
matchmaking was like really busted because there was not a lot of people playing it, man.
dude, that's gonna be in like the special discounts for like Black Friday and stuff. It's gonna have like a
Yeah.
massive like $20 off or something crazy.
I don't know. I heard the single player or the story stuff is good.
Yeah, that's about
So
it.
yeah, but I mean, and the same thing with Squadrons. I heard the single player is good, and yeah, it's still out there.
It's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars. Um, yeah, I'm probably gonna skip that and concentrate I don't know, maybe looking up what I want for next gen. So more than likely, that's what's
Keep your
gonna
eyes
happen.
open. I mean, there's still rumors going
Yeah.
around. Was today something leaked with like Canada or something having on October 17th more of them in stock?
Oh, really?
That's like a last pre-order from Sony. So
Interesting.
the belief is that maybe that will be also happening here. We don't know.
All right.
So yeah, we'll see, man.
We'll
But
see for sure. Yeah.
thank you all for joining us today for our episode. Make sure you share this episode with your friends, your family if you really enjoy it. Let people know to listen to No Load Time. Also, make sure that you are subscribed. So make sure that you are subscribed to our audio version on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Spotify, also on Amazon. And then you can also make sure you're subscribed to our video version on our YouTube channel. Make sure you're following us on social media at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Also, make sure that you send an email to us with any feedback, questions, comments. You enjoying the show? Maybe you've got some thoughts on some things we're talking about. We'd love to hear from you. So send an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. Again, thank you all very much, and we'll see you all on our next episode.
Thank you, guys. Next week we'll have the date for the Games of the Generation show, so that we'll give you that date on next week's episode, and hope to see you guys back. And stay safe. We'll see you guys next time.